Pelvochromis pulcher. Now, I never studied Latin at all, but I read pelva translates to belly, chromis is colour, and pulcher is beautiful. That's lovely. And about right for these awesome wee colourful cichlids from West Africa. Kribensis are relatively undemanding, so they're going to suit the beginner fish keeper perfectly, and so interesting that experienced hobbyists are going to enjoy them too. They don't require a huge tank, with the males maxing out about 4 inches tops and the females about 3 inches. So a 20 gallon will be fine for a pair you may be considering breeding. Longer obviously would be better, since they do tend to spend most of their time in the bottom third of the tank. That means most community tank mates that prefer to utilise the top area of the aquarium will be fine with them. Just make sure that when you're feeding, enough food reaches the bottom for the cribs and the fish at the top aren't getting it all. Fish they're not going to get on so well with is ones that want to occupy the same kind of living space as they do. That pretty much rules out other dwarf cichlids. Rams, apistogrammas are not going to work, and it's doubtful cories either, especially since the cories are quite busy and might get in the crib's face a wee bit too much, leading to the cribs chasing them off, and they'll certainly eat each other's eggs if they find them too. I find they squabble between themselves occasionally and tend to half-heartedly chase other fish at times, but generally they're good community fish unless they're breeding. The first time I had cribs spawn, I knew it immediately. They were in a big community tank, I think it was a 4-foot tank at the time, and when I came into the room, every single other fish was pressed up against the glass at one end, desperately trying to keep as far away from the cribs as possible. That told me all I needed to know, because they do get very defensive of their territory when they're breeding. They are very defensive parents, and both mum and dad will defend their babies. So they prefer to spawn in caves, so you should offer 2 or 3 caves and let them pick one that they like. And then as long as you've got a male and a female, they will spawn. They're probably one of the most easy cichlids to get to breed, if not one of the most easy freshwater community fish. Therefore, if you do have a pair, it's usually a good idea to have a plan with what to do with the babies once they mature. The eggs usually hatch between 3 and 5 days. The parents stay guarding them the whole time, and the fry will start moving about the tank together not long after that. It's really fascinating watching the fry move around in a group, with mum and dad taking turns to cover the group while the other chases off any nearby fish or searches for food. It's almost like a gentle wave of fireworks watching the fry move about in a group, which is maybe not the best description, but you might see what I mean. If you've got a better description for it, in fact, put it in the comments below, because I spent ages trying to come up with something appropriate. The babies are super cute. They are kind of spotted for camouflage, but it doesn't take long before they start to look like wee miniature versions of their parents. It's pretty rewarding watching them grow from tiny fry into fully developed cribs, actually. The parents are fully devoted and will fight even bigger fish to the death if they have to, protecting their young. But they're also devoted to each other. So once they form a mating pair, they generally stay together until one of them dies. Their devotion to their children doesn't last quite as long though. As soon as they're ready to reproduce again, they start chasing off the previous spawn, and it's time for them to fend for themselves. Fry will find plenty of microorganisms to feed on in a well-established aquarium, but they can be offered baby brine shrimp and crushed up flake, finely crushed flake, and the parents will eat anything. Being omnivorous, they'll eat any food you generally provide to a community aquarium, so dried, live, frozen, pellet, flake, whatever. Obviously, it's best to mix it up though and give them a range in their diet to keep them healthy, and I dare say to give them more interest in their meals. Nobody wants to eat the same thing day in, day out, do they, eh? Also, we need to make sure we're getting all the vitamins, minerals and proteins, whatever they need in their diet. Just try to provide the best range and the best quality that you can. Male Kribensis tend to be longer and more slender, while the females are a little shorter, bit more plump and have that gorgeous pink spot on their stomach. The females tend to be more colourful, but both are beautiful, beautiful fish with amazing colours and patterns. They are super hardy and they can tolerate a range of water parameters, which is one of the factors that lead to their popularity. You tend to find them in most fish stores, and once folk get them home, even the beginner fish keeper can keep them alive no problem. Not just alive, but thriving, breeding and having a good time. Their pH range is about 5.5 to 7.5, and the temperature range is maybe 75 to 80 degrees. That's 24 to 27 Celsius. They prefer a heavy planted tank. Gives them the confidence that they can hide away and go about their business. Makes them feel at home. It's a much more natural environment for them. And they seem to prefer darker substrates. Tends to be when you get the best colours out of them. So if you can provide an environment that suits them, and obviously you keep up with your water changes, you keep it clean and you keep it healthy for them, they can live up to 5 years. That's 5 years with a beautiful, amazing, interesting little cichlid that I'm sure you're going to enjoy.